Hey RC fans, so this is a really casual video here. I'm doing this video because this RC4GS by Radiolink, I have left it on by accident like 3 different times, and then like 6 or 8 hours later, the thing will start beeping because the battery voltage drops down. So it's nice that there's an alarm in it. But basically, if it has a black and white screen, I just forget that the thing is on. I turn the RC car off because that thing has LEDs, bright LEDs. But for some reason, I always forget this, and it's turned off a bunch. I drained the battery out. So I'm thinking I'm gonna wire in an LED light here, so I can literally see something flash, a bright, colorful LED, and then I'll remember to turn it off. So let's see how this works out. So naturally I want to unplug the battery, right? I don't want to short circuit anything. Well, actually, for now, I'll unplug it, but I am going to have to figure out where to connect the LED, so I will have to run the battery in it later, but let me unscrew this thing. And it's kind of hard to do because I'm standing behind the camera, but I guess it can be done. Alright. Nope, that's too long. I'm gonna need a longer screwdriver there and there. So I took out all the screws. There seems to be 7 of these plastic screws, but I'm thinking, this sticker here is trapping it. The clamshell is actually covered by the sticker. So if you want to take this thing apart, you're gonna have to remove this little this thing. So just jam a screwdriver. It's a foil sticker of some sort. I think I'll put that in my toolbox. Okay, so yeah, that definitely has to be removed. Okay, so let's open this up. Okay, so the back comes off easily enough. The switch is loose, so it might be better to actually put some tape on the switch if you're going to do this yourself. Okay, so looking at the inside of this thing, the battery leads here, and it's leading up here. I think this is the battery lead, this here. This 3 wire is going to, a switch. So this is the battery lead. So you have a positive feeding into the board, and then a negative feeding back to that battery. So this is the on-off switch, and there's 2 positions. So basically, I want to wire the LED, so when this is on the on position, the LED will light up. So I need to have the negative, probably I'll just solder the negative right to the negative of the battery there, and then I'm going to solder the positive LED to one of these contacts of the switch. So it's always good to just check the voltage and stuff of something before you go soldering, because you don't want to short circuit the thing, right? So I got this little voltmeter here. Alright, it's not a little voltmeter, it's quite large, and now I got to hook up the battery again. In the base of this thing, I'm not sure if you can tell, there's a molded in voltage. It says 4.8. Sorry, let me try to get a light here. Hopefully you can read that. It says 4.8 to 15 volts. So you really probably want, I'm going to try to have a 12 volt LED. I have one from a motorcycle project a while ago, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so you want to just make sure you hook up this power source to the correct side. So positive is on the right side in this case. Yeah, just making sure. Okay, so yeah, it lights up. So now turn my voltmeter on to 20 volts, direct current. The negative, I know I can just touch the negative of the battery lead, but finding the positive, I have to move my body here. Nope, I short-circuited it. Okay guys, you might be wondering why you see 2 radio transmitters. It's because I shorted out the first one. So I want you guys, if you try to do this mod, I need to warn you how dangerous, not dangerous, but how easy it is to short circuit and destroy this thing. When I was checking for the polarity, I accidentally bridged this gap here on the switch. So this is destroyed, so I took it out. Let me get a better light angle here for you. Okay, so here's the power on switch. You know, this is the cable from the battery here. And let me move this capacitor out of the way since it's destroyed anyways. So this connector right here is the on. So once the switch is on in this position, electricity is flowing through the circuits. But if you look at this lead, it is so close to the metal casing. I think I accidentally touched those two pieces of metal when I was checking for the polarity. So I definitely know that the polarity is running here, but you know, if you bridge that gap, you're going to short circuit the board and pretty much destroy it. So keep that in mind. Basically, don't solder this thing with the power on. Don't check the polarity. I already did it for you. You know, just don't even have any sort of power running through this when you're soldering it, and don't even try to check the polarity. Okay, so I ran the negative to the LED to the negative here from the power input, right? You can see the black going to this black lead. So this cable is going to go to the black of the LED. And then this is where you can make a decision on your own. It would be safer if you soldered the positive to the LED right here. This is the bottom side of the on position right there. But I have to warn you, if you remove the LCD screen, these tiny cables right here, this little black, these are the cables that go to the LED that powers up the backlights the LCD screen. This is actually the LCD screen ribbon, but this just goes to a little LED that backlights this thing. So you can remove it with just 4 screws, but you got to be careful not to, you know, break the cables. So I would actually probably recommend that you maybe try to solder to here, because there's a lot more space where you. But I actually chose to solder it to that switch right there. But again, if you do it and you accidentally get solder, you know, bridging this gap, you're going to short circuit the thing once you turn it on. So I have the thing parallel running against right here, like where this, you know, tweezers is going. And then I jam some electrical tape between this here as well, in case, you know, the cable moves. I don't want to accidentally touch this piece of metal. So I'll show you. Excuse me. I'll show you here on the real one. So that cable is going to that lead, and here's 3 pieces of electrical tape jammed in there, so it makes sure it doesn't short circuit or anything like that. And then, yeah, the black lead is still going to the underside here, you know, to the cable that goes out to the power. And then since I had this thing open anyways, I got rid of that, well, I basically soldered in my own XT30, because I don't like those JST plugs, because there's no way to make sure the polarity is correct, right? But an XT30, you can't screw it up because of the shape of the plug itself, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this back together. Okay, well, I put the thing back together, and, you know, it's just sticking out for now. The threaded insert, actually, it's not even glued in. It's just a friction fit into the case. So it's supposed to be here, but for now I'll just take it out because I'm not using the threaded insert anyhow. But once I get a better LED, you know, I'll mount it back correctly. So when I turn it on, the LED is on. Hopefully you can tell, right? Now this is kind of a stupid color. It's a UV light. You know, you don't want UV light exposing your face. So for now, I'm just going to cover it with some sort of translucent paint, or possibly just some heat shrink tubing, maybe, until I get a red LED. I looked up on the internet that red LEDs consume the least amount of power. So if you're going to do this and you have to order LEDs, I suggest you get a 12-volt red colored, which is what I've ordered, but it hasn't come in the mail yet. And I then also had these laying around. These are for 2mm LEDs. It's like a stainless steel. It's a stainless steel housing that if you drill a hole, which I'm going to do later, I can actually thread it and then run the LED through it so it'll look a little more professional. But I guess I'll just do that later, right? Okay, so I don't know if it's just me, guys. Leave a comment, but have you ever left this thing on? I've left it on 2 or 3 times now, and then the thing will just start beeping because I can't remember to turn it off, because from this angle it's just not bright, right? But if you have something literally protruding from the surface, I think I can't forget. So, anyways, it just might be me. But if you do want to go ahead and mod this, again, I cannot stress enough that do not try to find the polarity. I figured it all out for you. And don't have any power running through it when you're soldering it, of course. And just be careful. Don't bridge the gap of that switch, because if you do, when you turn it on, it's going to short circuit and you're going to fry the thing like me. Luckily, these things aren't that expensive. It was like 30 bucks or 35 bucks without the receiver. Even with the receiver, I think it's like 45, 50 bucks. So compared to real hobby grade, radios, it wasn't too costly of a mistake for me. And I guess I have spare parts in case for some reason I wear out this foam. I think I'll just tear apart the other one. Alright guys, well thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next RC related video.